Beams City Sports back at you again on 96.5 FM KUBU Radio. Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell coming to you in Sacramento, California. How you been, Luke?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. It's cooling down right now in Sacramento, but we're still pretty hot in the studio. We'll stay hot. But yeah, I'm feeling good right now. Had a good night last night. I was at Golden One Center, actually. I went to the Weezer show. That was pretty rock and roll. So yeah, we're here now, but I'm ready.
Shout out Island in the Sun. You're also going to the Kings Warriors preseason game tonight.
Yes, sir. Two nights at Golden One.
Yeah,
that's home sweet home. So whenever it's open, I'm trying to be there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we always keep it hot in the studio. Today we are going to be going over our award predictions for next year for the NBA. Also talking a little preseason ball, and then we'll get into the MLB Playoffs, which has really been heating up.
Yes,
Crazy
sir.
games in the baseball. So,
I always say MLB playoffs are the most electric baseball that is ever played. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if MLB just puts roids in the players and they don't even know it. But no, yeah, MLB baseball in the playoffs is the best playoffs in sports, like in Major League Sports.
Yeah, I love it so much because, you can't predict as easy as an NBA. Like, the better team's going to win 99% of the time in a 7-game series. But baseball, it doesn't matter. Whoever's hot at the time, it could be the underdog most of the time.
Shout out Detroit Tigers.
Yep, let's go Tigers. They're playing right now in Detroit against the Guardians. So that's an interesting game.
There we go.
Series tied 1-1.
I will say I did predict the Guardians to go to the World Series. So I do want the Tigers to win, but I think the Guardians might pull through.
I feel you on that one. All right, well, let's jump into our awards for next year in the NBA. So let's start up top with the big award, MVP. Last year was Nikola Jokic, who is back-to-back. He just won 2 MVPs in a row. So let's see who we think is going to win MVP this year. Who do you got?
I got my boy Anthony Edwards at number 1. I was kind of fighting between Luka and Anthony, but I think Anthony's going to propel the Timberwolves a bit more than Luka will with the Mavs. I think after that trade, too, they will drop, but I think Anthony's still going to be willing that team himself to be getting back to where they were.
Yeah, those were my top 2 as well. I had it flipped, though. I had Luka winning, and then I had Anthony Edwards second. My third was Joel Embiid. He's always going to put the points up.
We had the top 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's surprising.
Right on point.
Same exact top 3. Luka Doncic is the betting favorite to win MVP this year. So we will see how Dallas does. The standings really do matter for the MVP race. You got to be a top 3 seed to win that MVP.
Yeah, you have to.
And after the trade, we both kind of adjusted our Western Conference standings predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Mavs are definitely going to be top 3. So I could see Luka.
One.
Yeah, possibly 1. And like you said, the Timberwolves could drop after that Cat trade. Anthony Edwards still going to have a crazy year. I think he could average around 30 points a game. So definitely had him as in my top 2. Yeah. All right. Well, Defensive Player of the Year. This one was a little bit easier for me to, predict. I think this one is in the bag already. I think it's going to be Victor Wembanyama.
Yep, I got that too. I was kind of thinking, I didn't know if you were going to have him up there at number 1. I didn't know if you were going to put, maybe Dark Horse Chet up there. Because I think Chet Holmgren, I think he's going to be one of the best defensive players in the league this year.
Yeah.
The young guys coming in and dominating just down low and everything. Chet kind of handled DeMontis last year sometimes. So that was pretty crazy to see. But, Wemby as a second-year player coming in. Rookie of the Year last year and then a favorite to win Defensive Player this year.
Yeah, last year we saw the defensive impact from Wembanyama. Not even block. He blocks the most shots in the league because he's so tall. He's 7'4".
Yeah.
But it's more about, people being scared to even go near the rim when he's in the game.
Yeah.
People will have an open layup and he's, not that close to him, and they will pass it out.
You could see it. Even LeBron. LeBron is known as one of those people who's just will back down anybody. But LeBron, you see him do a little kick-out pass when he gets down in the key. You can't handle him. He can't get around him. He can't get over him. Yeah,
people are just really scared to go at Victor. So I think, he'll definitely win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me was Bam Adebayo from the Miami Heat.
Okay.
He still hasn't won a Defensive Player of the Year, and he's been known as one of the best defenders in the league. I think if, Wemby misses some games or anything like that, hope he doesn't. But if he does, I think Bam would win it. I think Miami's going to have a good defense, and he is the anchor of that defense.
Okay. I did look at him, but I don't know. I don't think Bam's just with the team around him right now, and Jimmy kind of on that contract, kind of maybe leaving or staying. I don't know if his confidence is going to be all up, or maybe it will just shoot through the roof and he'll be the face of the franchise. Who knows?
Yeah, I could see that. So who was your 2?
I got Chet Holmgren at number 2.
Yeah, you talked about him a little bit already.
Yeah.
He's got that length. He can block a lot of shots. Also impresses me guarding on the perimeter. I think Chet moves his feet very well, against those quicker guards, which you don't usually see out of someone that tall.
No, not at all. And I was impressed to see him come back this strong after he was out the whole first year.
Yeah.
Comes back after a big injury that people thought he was going to be kind of done for a little while. But, he came in and he's showing that he could help this OKC Thunder team be a young, bright team.
Yeah.
So then following him, though, I got Gobert still, right at 3.
Yeah, I also had Gobert. I wanted to put Herb Jones up there, because it's always a big man that wins it. We saw Marcus Smart win it as a guard a couple years back, but that was the first guard to win it since Gary Payton back in 2002.
Exactly.
So I would love to see Herb Jones get some more love, but Rudy is just a staple there. He's won it 4 times already.
Yep, and then he'll have a bigger presence down in the paint now since Cat's gone.
Exactly. Yeah, people, the difference with Gobert, though, is he can't guard on the perimeter like some of these other guys.
He gets a little exposed when he gets on that switch ball. He can't really switch out there.
Yeah, and I think another big part of Defensive Player of the Year is, your team's defensive rating, and Minnesota will definitely have a good defensive rating, maybe even the best defense in the league. But same with OKC. They have really good defenders, and Chet could be that, rim protector on that team, so definitely. I could see him getting some love there. All right.
And then he could get on the perimeter, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Rookie of the Year. For me, this was a really tough one to pick. It was between 2 guys for me, but I rolled with Reed Shepherd from the Houston Rockets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He was kind of on my eyes a little bit, but I'm rolling with Stephon Castle. I talked about him a little bit in the past, but now with him going in with Wemby and Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, I think Stephon's going to kind of thrive right there.
Yeah, that was my number 2. It was definitely between those 2.
I want to hear why you have Reed at 1.
Yeah, I got Reed at 1 because he was by far the best rookie in the Summer League. He really impressed me. Being the number 3 pick in the draft, I think he looked like he should have went number 1. The first 2 picks really struggled in Summer League. I know Summer League doesn't, determine all this, but Reed Shepherd looks NBA ready, and, he can shoot it great. He's a great defensive player, even though he's a little undersized. I think he plays great defense, and he can guard multiple positions, even though he's only 6'1", 6'2". He can guard the 1, he can guard the 2, he can guard maybe even the 3.
That's pretty impressive.
He's stronger out there.
Yeah.
He hustles, he gives his heart out, so I think Reed Shepherd.
I am a fan of Reed Shepherd.
Yeah.
I love his play style, just kind of gritty. He's quick with his hands, and he's down low, so he's kind of he reminds me of Jose Alvarado on the Pelicans.
That. Yeah.
Kind of just this sneaky little guard that can,
Yeah, but Reed Shepherd, Rookie of the Year definitely is determined by who gets the most opportunity and, who puts up the most points, makes the most impact. And I think it might be kind of tough for Reed Shepherd and Stephon Castle. They're both not going to be starting on opening night, that's for sure.
That's true.
The Rockets and the Spurs both have guys, like you said, Chris Paul is ahead of Stephon Castle.
Paul, yeah.
And then for Reed Shepherd, he has Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green and all these guys for the Rockets.
Yeah.
But I think later in the year, I think these guys will get a lot more opportunity, and we'll definitely see them shine.
For sure.
Yeah.
I will put up an argument for Stephon Castle with that kind of starting position, I think. Obviously Chris Paul will start for probably the whole beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But I was seeing some highlights, and with how fast Stephon Castle is, I think with how young their team is right now, they're going to kind of want to pick up the step a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And Chris Paul kind of slows it down sometimes. Or a lot of the times he's a pass-first guard. So I think Stephon has a chance to come in and start potentially later in the year.
I could see that too. Yeah. And Chris Paul's always dealt with injuries, of course, in his career. Yeah. He's getting up there. He's
kind of aging right now.
He's almost 40 years old. He's about to play in his 19th year or 20th year in the league, actually.
Exactly.
So shout out to Chris Paul, though. He's been in the league for so long. But the betting favorite to win Rookie of the Year is Alex Sarr from the Washington Wizards, the number 2 pick in the draft. He didn't look good in Summer League at all, But the other day in preseason, he looked pretty good. He could shoot the ball better than I thought he could. He's a center. He's about 7 foot tall.
I was going to put Zachary Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet.
His name's really hard to say.
Yeah.
The number 1 pick in the draft. He's getting no love.
I was going to put him at 2 because I was seeing him play. I saw some highlights for Atlanta the other day.
Yeah.
And him and Trey had this, like, I don't know, this in and out, like, kind of weave combo thing. And he can hit a deep 3 kind of off the pop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be exciting to see. As much as I'm not a big Trey Young fan.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be really good with him, that whole combo.
Yeah, I think that could be a good duo, like you said. He reminds me of Michael Porter Jr. a little bit. You know, a good shooter, like you said, from deep. But also, he might have more inside game than Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, like you said, I saw him and Trey Young run this pick and roll the other day, and then he got a wide open dunk out of it. So, you know,
he's played in the French leagues, like for the pro leagues for quite a while now. Yeah. So he's kind of got that, I don't know, more kind of whole team mentality ball rather than a player in the collegiate level.
Yeah.
Trying to just play their way to the NBA.
Yeah, that's true. He could play more like, you know, like an older player, and you wouldn't see that out of a lot of rookies. But another guy I had that I wanted to put on there was Zach Edey. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity in Memphis.
I had him at 3 as well.
You know, he's probably going to start for them on opening night at the center position, along with Jaren Jackson at the 4. But I think it really depends on if he can keep up with this fast-paced Grizzlies team, because we do know he's a slower big man. He's like above 7 foot for sure. He weighs a lot.
7'2", I think.
Yeah. But yeah, he can score the ball. Like you mentioned a lot of shows ago, he's going to set really good screens for Ja, and I think that's an underrated part of his game. Well, the next award is Sixth Man of the Year.
Sixth Man.
This one was a little easier for both of us, I think.
Super easy.
You know, the betting favorite to win was my number 1 from the Sacramento Kings, Malik Monk. Yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially after last year getting hurt at the end of the year when he was the favorite to win it. Mm-hmm. But then he missed like the last 13 games, I think. He's going to come in hot. He's going to, people put up the argument for him to start, but he likes to lead the bench. I mean, we could kind of tell that already. He plays a lot of minutes coming off the bench. I mean, so yeah, he's going to be hot. He's going to be sick.
I think he got robbed last year, honestly, by Naz Reid, you know. Yeah. Naz Reid ended up starting a lot of games at the end of the year last year for Minnesota, and then he wins Sixth Man of the Year.
Yep.
Malik didn't start one game for the Kings, even when, you know, Kevin Huerter got hurt. They put in Keon Ellis. They wanted to keep Malik off the bench to, you know, win that Sixth Man of the Year and get his respect.
Yep.
And I think he got robbed, and it's just crazy that he still hasn't won this award. I think this is the year, though.
Part of it I see as a saving grace, because maybe if he did win that Sixth Man of the Year, maybe he wouldn't have wanted to return on this small of a contract that he just got signed for. So, I mean, for us, maybe it's good that he didn't win it, and we have him for 3 more years, and he can't really get out of here.
Yeah, yeah, true. That is true. You know, he did take a little less money to stay in Sac. He could have went to somewhere like Orlando and somewhere else and got paid way more.
Exactly.
And like you said, if he won that Sixth Man of the Year, who knows what he would have done?
Mm-hmm. Would have, I know he knows his worth already, but he probably would have, seen it even more.
Yeah.
And gone like, give me my 25 mil, give me my 30 mil or something like that.
I think he's making like 17 mil
he's
a
making
year.
17.
So that's still a lot.
I'm one to say like these contracts don't need to be that big, but still he's like he can ask for that.
Yeah, and like we've mentioned before, he's definitely going to be in the closing lineups for the Kings. One of the best fourth quarter players in the league.
For sure.
He's not shy to shoot the ball in that fourth quarter.
No.
He wants the ball.
No.
And now we got 2 guys to play along with him, DeMar and De'Aaron, in the fourth quarter.
Who knows who they're gonna go to at the end of the game to close it out. Like
now we finally have options.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be all relying on De'Aaron. But number 2 for me in the Sixth Man of the Year race was newly acquired Minnesota Timberwolf Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh wow,
that was my second pick for Sixth Man of the Year. You know, like he mentioned, when he left New York, he wanted a bigger role, and that's why he, you know, was fine leaving New York, leaving all his friends, his Nova boys.
Yeah.
But
maybe he'll have a chip on his shoulder when he plays this season.
Yeah, I think Minnesota has to play him a ton of minutes. You know, they acquired him for Karl Anthony Towns. I think even though Mike Conley is still a great starting point guard in this league, he's a vet.
He's slowing down, too.
I think we could see Dante more in those closing lineups in the fourth quarter. You know? And Dante's been shooting the lights out ever since last year. Even in the preseason, he's pulling up from way deep, and it just looks effortless for him.
Yep.
So
I thought he was going to be one of the pieces that we kept here kind of with the rebuild for a little bit. Yeah. But then he was gone after 1 year.
In Sac?
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't like it here in Sacramento.
No. You can kind of tell on the court.
He was not happy. So who was your number 2 for Sixth Man of the Year?
I got Josh Hart, but this is also kind of up in the air where maybe he starts some games.
He could. He definitely could.
Because I know that rotation over there in New York is pretty strong, like kind of on that first few bench roles. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he might be starting some games, but I think Josh Hart is going to be playing his heart out this year, kind of. Yeah. New York is going to be one of those favorites over there in the East. But Josh Hart, I love his play style. He's He
hustles more than anyone in the league. I think, like you said, he could start some games. But yeah, I love Josh Hart's game. I like that you have him on here. So my number 3 was Trey Murphy III from the Pelicans. I really wanted them to move on from Brandon Ingram, but didn't do it. So Trey Murphy's still coming off the bench for them. I think he's one of the best bench players in the league. But I will say that after number 1 for both of us, Malik is number 1. I think it's a far number 2 and number 3 for these guys. Like, it's not close. Malik is definitely leagues above both these guys.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be kind of surprised by my 3 just because the team that was kind of down in the dump. But I think Jordan Clarkson's going to be up there. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be much of a team impact. Mm-hmm. But last year was kind of his last year starting for the Jazz. This is going to be your first year coming off the bench. And I think he's going to average still around 20 points off the bench still.
That's a good pick. And he's a bucket. He's definitely a bucket. Yeah. He's going to get his shots up for sure, especially over there. He's been in that Sixth Man of the Year running a lot of years when he came off the bench, and then they moved him into the starting lineup. Hasn't looked too good in the starting lineup. So And then, I mean, they're moving on to this young core that they have. So, sorry. Yeah. But, I think he's going to come off the bench, average 20 and 5 at least. Yeah. And that's up in the, that's kind of crazy to come off the bench right there. Yeah, I could see that working out. So, another guy I wanted to put on my Sixth Man of the Year race was Buddy Hield from the Warriors.
Yeah. I'm done with the Buddy Hield love.
I think Buddy's going to have a big year for Golden State, honestly. I think they look good in preseason. They're running plays for him off the ball. He's a great catch and shoot player. Yeah. And I think he could be he's going to shoot a better percentage than Clay did last year. I think Clay shot really bad percentage last year. Buddy is also a chucker, though, just like Clay. So he's going to get his shots up, but I think he'll shoot a better percentage. And in that Warriors offense, that could lead to a lot of points for him off the bench.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that he is one of the best shooters in the league. Yeah. But there's a bitter side right there with me and Buddy.
Yeah.
So he's the furthest for a six man for me.
For sure. All right. Well, now it gets interesting for me. Most improved player. This was definitely the hardest one to pick for me. I want to hear yours first. Who'd you get for most improved player?
I got Wemby.
Okay. Yeah, that is, how the voting's really been going over the past few years, but I really hate it. I hate how they do that.
I do hate it, but I also see him being the most improved because he averaged 20 points last year as a rookie. Yeah. I see him averaging 9 more points next year.
That's a lot.
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, with Chris Paul.
With the people around him, mm-hmm. I think he's going to go up to 29.
Yeah.
And I think he's still going to average 10, 11 rebounds.
And lead the league in blocks.
And then he's still Defensive Player of the Year, favorite.
Yeah.
Wemby's definitely going to be up there and most improved.
Yeah, the voting has turned into that for most improved player. I miss when it used to be guys that nowhere. Yeah. That you didn't expect. We all expect Wembanyama to be, continue to get better and better. Yeah. When Lauri Markkanen won most improved player a few years ago, that was because he came out of nowhere. And he got traded to the Jazz and finally got opportunity.
I do like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I have my number one as a guy, one of my favorite players in the league. Really hoping he has a big year. They said they're going to move him to the point guard spot this year after playing the shooting guard last year. It's Jordan Poole.
Okay.
I think my boy Jordan Poole is going to win most improved player.
Wow. Is that why you brought his jersey?
That's why I got the jersey out today. But yeah, Jordan Poole in the point guard spot last year in their last 20 games when he did play the point guard, he averaged 23 and 9 assists.
Damn.
though. He is turnover prone.
He's probably working on his passing this offseason.
But 9 assists from Jordan Poole is something that
that's actually
you wouldn't expect.
He does that quietly over there in Washington.
Yeah, and
obviously because it is in Washington.
Exactly. I think Jordan Poole is going to have a big year, though. I think a lot of that pressure's been lifted off his shoulders. Last year coming into Washington, they had big expectations for him.
For sure.
Maybe even be an all-star and stuff. That didn't work out. And now I think he's gonna have a good year.
I am a big fan of Kuzma as well.
Yeah.
Obviously I said it before. I wanted him over here, but if you're hyping him up like this at the point guard position, maybe Kuzma will kind of break out a little bit more too.
True. Get him the ball more in better spots. But I think is going to up his scoring output from last year as well. He had a couple big games, but then he had a lot of games. He was scoring 2 points. He was scoring 5 points.
He forces a lot of shots up.
It's tough though because he's playing in Washington.
Yeah.
In Golden State, he had a lot more room to operate, and that's why he looked so good. But in Washington, they're all focused on him. Like, he has the best defender every night.
That's true.
So it's tough. But I think next year he's been putting in that work in the offseason. I think it's his year.
I respect it, but I think Emmanuel Quickley is going to be a little bit up.
Adam is number 2?
Yeah, I have him at number 2. Him being in Toronto after leaving New York, I think he's probably going to be the face over there, probably the leading scorer. If Scotty Brooks or if RJ Barrett don't do it. But with those people around him, Emmanuel Quickley, he's averaged 19 points, I think, last year.
I think he could definitely raise that above 22.
He's going to raise that above 22 for sure. I was thinking maybe 25.
That would be big for him. We mentioned it last show. A lot of NBA players that played with him in the offseason predict him to be an all-star.
Yep.
So, like you said, he's going to get a lot of shots over there in Toronto. So I could definitely see
shots.
that.
Yeah.
My number 2 was Josh Giddey from the Chicago Bulls.
I saw people were putting. I don't know about that, man.
He looked really good in the Olympics because he was running the show for Australia.
That is true.
He's underrated at this point, man. I think he's going to do really good in Chicago. I don't think Chicago's going to be any good.
I'm not a big Giddey fan, man.
I wasn't either, but now I kind of am with his game. Only on the court. I'll just put that out there. Only on the court. But so Josh Giddey, I think he's going to get a lot more opportunity than he did in OKC. No pressure over there in Chicago, really. I don't think people are going to win a ton of games. And I think he can score the ball better than people think. And he's a great facilitator. That's why that's why he was starting in OKC. He was the facilitator over there.
All right. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. So who's your 2? Oh, quickly. Okay.
No, yeah. I think you're going to be happy with this third one that I have at up there.
Yeah, he is the betting favorite to win Most Improved Player. But I didn't have him in my top 3.
I have him at 3 for me.
I like that.
I'm not a Warriors fan, but I do see him as a great player. He screwed us up a lot in the playoffs.
I think the Warriors need him to be that second guy. They need him.
He needs to stay consistent a lot too, because when I was watching him, he wasn't super consistent every single night.
Yeah,
he wasn't. It's not that he was missing all of his shots, but he just wasn't there.
Yeah.
He wasn't putting his shots up when he needed to.
He was inconsistent for sure.
Yeah.
did you see his new hair?
No,
he looks like Frank Ocean. He
Really?
dyed his hair blonde.
Oh, wow.
Looks really, really interesting out there.
Who knows? Maybe that's
new start.
Change something up.
New start. My number 3, though, was Andrew Nembhard from the Pacers. He had a great playoff run, took over that starting 2-guard spot for them.
Okay.
I love his game. He's just a solid guard. And I think Indiana's going to be really good. So I could see him getting some love over there. Let's fly through really quick so we can talk about some baseball second half of the show. Coach of the year for me, my favorite to win it. Picked him last year to win it too. He didn't win it, but Jamal Mosley for the Orlando Magic.
Okay. I didn't even really think about the Magic. Yeah.
I think he's going to be in the running for Coach of the Year, and he's my pick to win it.
Okay, I got Tom Thibodeau at 1.
Yeah, he's the betting favorite, Tom Thibodeau.
Damn, I swear to God, I swear I'm not putting I'm not looking at the.
No, I know you didn't know. Yeah.
Kind of just looking at the teams and just like who they have, and I think that team is going to be one of the most coachable teams in the NBA with how much chemistry there is.
I like that.
I think it's just going to be one of the most well-flowing teams.
Yeah. Well, my number 2 was Taylor Jenkins, Grizzlies. He's won a Coach of the Year a couple years back. Memphis obviously is going to have a big jump this year after being the most injured team of all time last year. Did you know that? They were the most injured team of all time. They
that's pretty nuts.
The most injuries for key players
Damn.
last year than any team has ever dealt with.
Wow.
And this year, Jaw has looked insane in preseason already.
No, he's I'm scared for Memphis.
I'm scared for Memphis too because they
not
look
for
really
Memphis, but I'm scared for
to
Memphis
play them.
Yeah.
So who's your 2?
For 2, I got Mark. Don't know how to say his last name.
For the Thunder.
Yeah, I think
he won it last year.
I think he has a potential to be the first coach to win back-to-back. Because again, that's one of those teams that is already well together, knitted, and knows everybody and then adding Alex Caruso to that team, it's going to be pretty insane.
You're definitely right. I just don't think they want to give it to him 2 years in a row, but he'll definitely deserve some love.
I think he'll probably for it.
For sure. All right, well, Clutch Player of the Year, the last award.
Oh, wait, I also have Mike Brown at 3.
Mike Brown at 3. Got to give him some love. Clutch Player of the Year for me might be surprising for you, but I had to roll with him. I think it's really going to work out, and I think it's DeMar DeRozan.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
I think he's going to impress us so much in the clutch. I think we're going to defer to him in the clutch even. A couple of years back,
that'll be interesting to see.
The year before Clutch Player of the Year became an award, when De'Aaron won it the first year,
DeMar probably was.
Yeah, DeMar was easily
year.
the one. He had 8 game winners that year.
Okay.
So, I would love to see DeMar. I also had Jalen Brunson at 2 and then Luke at 3.
Okay, I got your boy Trae Young at 1.
Oh, wow.
Because he's going to get a lot of shots.
Wow.
He's going to be putting up all the shots for Atlanta at the end.
He's clutch.
And, losing Dejounte Murray, he's not going to pass to anybody in the last 2 minutes.
I could see that.
And I got Fox at 2.
Yeah.
And then I got Jalen Brunson at 3.
Okay. All right. Well, that was our awards for the next year. And, Steph Curry is the betting favorite to win Clutch Player of the Year. He won it last year, but I don't think he'll win it 2 years in a row.
No.
And Golden State,
no.
He's definitely going to get those shots. But yeah.
So, obviously he'll get all the shots.
Yeah.
But it's a different team.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, second half of the show, we'll talk some MLB baseball playoffs, and we'll close out the show. This is Beam City Sports on 96.5 FM. Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your daughters.
All right, we'll be back in about 3 minutes. We are back on Beam City Sports, 96.5 FM. Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell in Sacramento, California. We're going to go over our awards really quick, and then we'll jump into some baseball. So my pick for MVP was Luka Doncic. Defensive Player of the Year was Victor Wembanyama. Rookie of the Year, Reed Shepherd. Sixth Man of the Year, Malik Monk. Most Improved Player, Jordan Poole. Coach of the Year, Jamal Mosley. And Clutch Player of the Year, I had DeMar DeRozan.
And for me, at MVP, I got Luka. I got Wemby for Defensive Player of the Year. I got Stephon Castle for Rookie of the Year. And I got Malik Monk for Sixth Man. I got Wemby for Most Improved. I got Tom Tibbs for Coach of the Year. And then I got Trae Young for Clutch Player of the Year.
That was our NBA predictions for awards next year. Please subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on the radio, thanks again. Every Wednesday, 1 to 2.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into some exciting stuff over in the MLB. This is the first time, before yesterday, it was the first time that every series in the AL and NLDS were tied at 1-1.
Like I said,
crazy year.
Best playoffs in Major League Sports.
Yeah. Let's go over the games really quick. First game in the ALDS, game 1 was the Tigers at the Guardians, and the Guardians ran away with this game 7-0. What really impressed me in this game was Stephen Vogt's managing.
Yep.
And they said it on the broadcast.
I believe.
The Guardians have the best bullpen in all of baseball. All those guys out there are just nasty coming out of that bullpen.
They're dealing every night. Obviously, Tigers put up a pretty crazy game the next one, but every night those Guardians pitchers are going out dealing. It's pretty awesome. And then the hype from the crowd in Cleveland is pretty nuts.
It's been hype.
That's one stadium that I want to go to for sure. Is in Cleveland, but
it reminds me of Major League, the movie too. Like I like when the Guardians are good.
Yeah,
it's fun to see. But in that first game, the Guardians came out hot. Steven Kwan is one of the best leadoff hitters in all of baseball. Led off their first inning with a double. That crowd was jumping, and it ended up being a 5-run first inning for them, and then it was over after that.
Yeah.
Final score was 7-0. Guardians won. Jose Ramirez, David Fry, and Lane Thomas hit a 3-run bomb that was just an absolute bomb. But yeah, so that was
Kinda
it was
just
all in
brought
the first inning.
alive.
It was all in the first inning, and then after that, it was kind of just a quiet game.
We got to put respect on Jose Ramirez's name because during the regular season, I think he went 40. He had 40-40 season.
40-40.
And you look at him, it's just he's not going to steal bases.
Yeah,
but
I know
that dude's quick.
He does not look like he should
that
be
dude
stealing
is fast.
40 bases, but he
did it.
He gets
and
around.
He did it quietly.
Yeah.
I mean, just because Shohei was up there, but he's one of my favorite players over there in Cleveland.
Yeah, same here. One of the best third basemen in all of baseball for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That was game 1 for Tigers at Guardians, so that means the Guardians were up 1-0. Then it went on to the Mets at the Phillies in game 1. The Mets ran away with this one 6-2. I love this New York Mets team.
Yeah, they're pretty bound together. They're electric.
They're very fun to watch. But this game was crazy. Kyle Schwarber led off with a bomb to right field. It's crazy having him in the leadoff spot. Such a power hitter. But he absolutely tanked one to start off the Phillies' first inning. And then Zach Wheeler in this game 1 was dealing. He had 1 hit through 7 innings, and then they decided to take him out. And
that's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. Skippers kind of make those bad mistakes all the time.
Yeah, you got to let your starter rock if he's only given up 1 hit through 7 innings.
Yeah.
But right when the relievers came in the 8th inning, they didn't even get one out for a long time. They just started walking people, giving up hits, and all these hits were with 2 strikes, too. The Mets are just a gritty team.
Yeah.
And they fight. But yeah, so 3 different relievers pitched in the 8th inning for the Mets or the Phillies in this game, and they gave up 5 runs in that 8th inning.
That's tough. I mean, looking at that stat line is it's hard to see.
Yeah.
It happens so quick too. Like when you're sitting in the crowd or just just hanging by, it's just snap of a finger.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're down by 6. That's cool.
And you were just up 2-0.
You're just up.
And now, but for the Mets, some guys, Mark Vientos, the third baseman, who didn't really get any recognition before this playoff run, he's turned into a star.
Yep.
He's been hitting the ball great every game, making great plays at third. In this game 1, he was 2 for 4 with an RBI. Also, the number 3 hitter for the Mets, Brandon Nimmo, 2 for 4 with an RBI. And then JD Martinez, who is getting up there in age.
Yeah. I mean, I love JD Martinez.
Yeah,
I was a big fan of him when he was on Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And when he moved over to the Mets, I was just like, oh, damn, they're gonna be good.
Yeah.
And him coming in for a pinch hit, that's pretty awesome.
He's been one of the best hitters in baseball for some years now, and then he came in as a pinch hit opportunity with 2 outs, clutched up with an RBI, and that was really it. The Mets ran away with game 1, and it was all grit after they took the starter out.
Oh yeah.
That series is one of my favorites to watch.
This next one is my favorite series.
The Royals at the Yankees.
Royals and Yankees.
Yeah. So this was game 1. The Yankees won it 6-5. This game was crazy.
It was a tough one, man.
This was the most lead changes in a single game in postseason history with 5.
Pretty sick.
Pretty insane. So it was really back and forth for the Royals and the Yankees in game 1. Tommy Pham, who gets a lot of hate for some weird stuff he did. But he's still a good hitter out there. Sac fly to give the Royals a 1-0 lead, and then Gleyber Torres came in, hit a 2-run homer to take the lead back, 2-1 Yankees. And then MJ Melendez hit a 2-run homer for the Royals, giving them a 3-2 lead. And
back and forth.
Back and forth. Austin Wells walks in to score a run, 3-3, and then Anthony Volpe, he's a young shortstop for the Yankees.
Young. Yeah, he always gets love and hate from the Yankees. It's one day they hate him, the next day they love him.
It's tough to play in New York.
That's why I don't like Yankees fans.
Yeah, exactly.
I was told not to say the H word on radio, so I don't like Yankees fans.
Yeah, but Volpe got a walk, and it was 4-3 Yankees, and then back and forth, like we said. Royals took the lead back, and then in the 7th inning, Alex Verdugo, who's been struggling all year.
He's been struggling. He came up big for him with the win.
Mm-hmm. He had an RBI single in the 7th to give them the 6-5 lead, and that was the final in Game 1. That was Game 1. Yankees won that over the Royals.
I'm pulling for the Royals. I need the Royals to come up big today. They're playing today, right?
Every team plays today.
Yeah. baseball today, baby.
Baseball today is going to be popping. So game 1 for the Padres and the Dodgers was a crazy one as well.
Yeah.
7-5. The Dodgers ran away with it. But some guys for the Padres that made an impact. Jerkson Profar hit an RBI. Manny Machado, 2-run homer. And then Xander Bogaerts, two-run double. But for the Dodgers this game, it was, all the talk was about Ohtani in this one.
I mean, his first playoff homer.
Yeah.
That's pretty historical to see, too.
Yeah, but ever since then, he hasn't been doing good.
They're 0-5.
Yeah.
Or he's 0-5. And then I was going to say, so Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman, they're like 0 for 15 combined.
Exactly.
After that.
And, Ohtani is getting they're showing him in 2 games before the Dodgers play, it'll show Ohtani's little picture pop up and be like, Shohei Ohtani plays in 4 hours. I'm like, bro, give it a break. I know he's the best player in the league, but there's other great players.
It's starting to become like a LeBron kind of thing.
I don't even know if LeBron was getting stuff like that because
he wasn't.
Out of hand.
Yeah, he wasn't getting anything like that.
I feel like more people hate on LeBron. I don't think people hate on Ohtani at all.
That is true. Yeah, that's true.
So it's getting out of hand with the Ohtani love. And after this game 1, all they were talking about was Shohei Ohtani. His 3-run homer tied it up. It didn't even give him the lead.
Yeah.
So, all the talk was about him hitting that 3-run bomb. But Teoscar Hernandez has been one of the best hitters in baseball as well.
Oh, yeah.
He clutched up and gave them the lead for the win in game 1. And then we saw our guy from old Oakland A, Blake Treinen, had a 5-out save to close out game 1.
I am so surprised that he's still playing. When he was up on the mound, I was like, what the? He didn't retire?
I know. Because those last few years, the A's, he was not good.
He wasn't that good.
At first, he was an all-star. He was one of the best closers in baseball. And then all these closers always have these up and down careers. You know?
It's
1 year that you can be an all-star. The next year, you lose your spot. You're back in AAA. Yep. It's crazy.
I don't know. Maybe it's because they only have such few pitches. They gotta. I don't know.
Yeah.
People figure him out.
People figure him out. That's what it is. That was game 1 for each series. Now we're moving on to game 2. The Phillies won game 2, 7-6. That tied the series up. But this game was also crazy. Bryce Harper hit a 2-run homer. Then Nick Castellanos went back-to-back with Bryce Harper. This game.
See, this is what I'm
crazy.
saying. MLB is putting in something for, I don't know. Maybe they're juicing the balls again for playoffs. I mean, I don't hate it, but again, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it really is. And Mark Vientos again for the Mets hit two-run homer and a double. And he actually hit 2 home runs this game. That's what I meant to say. He hit 2 home runs and he clutched up in the 9th inning to tie it up at 6-6. But then Nick Castellanos ended up walking it off with a single. So,
boy, Nick Castellanos, man, he's one of my favorite players for sure. His kind of off field, his personality and everything. I'm a big fan of him.
He's a cool guy.
But then when he comes up in the big moments too, he's a big clutch player for sure. It's funny moments too.
That's what I was going to say.
It's funny moments when he hits that.
Yeah. It's always when it's the announcers are saying something really
maybe not funny moments, but
it's crazy. It's coincidence though.
It's comical.
Yeah. Every time he's up and then the announcer will say something bad happening, it could be anything negative.
I have
he's
a feeling
get a hit.
I'm not going to be putting this headset back on. And it's a deep drive to left field like Nick Castellanos.
He always just clutches up though. Like we said, walked it off in game 2, so that tied the series up 1-1. And then in game 2 of the Padres at the Dodgers, this is my favorite series.
Yeah.
Dodgers and Dodgers.
I got two Dodgers fans in my family or 3. I forget. Yeah, 3.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Yeah.
But I was with them at dinner last night, and they weren't too happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in game 2, the Padres ran away with it 10-2. Jack Flaherty was pitching for the Dodgers, and Fernando Tatis has looked like the best player in baseball.
Mr. October right now.
Yeah. He had a first-inning homer in game 2 for them. And then Yu Darvish pitched for the Padres. He's getting up there in age, but he was dealing.
Yeah. The Padres pitching staff is so deep.
It is.
It's pretty insane. Even
after losing Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell.
Yeah.
And they still have one of the best rotations in baseball.
I mean, he didn't even really have much of a great year this year.
He didn't.
He struggled at the beginning. He did kind of catch
picked
on
it up at the end.
He picked up.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a good thing they got him off his payroll off their payroll.
And the Giants paid him a ton of money.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But our guy Jurickson Profar hit a crazy catch in the first inning.
Yep.
He robbed Mookie Betts of a home run, and he didn't act like he caught it at first. It was insane.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was gone. Mookie Betts is starting around the base. They put the 1 run on the scoreboard for the Dodgers, and then he just casually throws it back in and talking smack to the fans.
Yeah.
And obviously that.
I did see a pretty cool interaction with the guy that almost caught it.
Really?
Jurickson caught it, and then the guy who was kind of reaching for it, he looked at Jurickson and just gave him a smile and nodded at him. Was like, all right, there you go.
That probably wasn't the same guy that was throwing beers at him in left field.
No, it was not the same guy.
Well, that is crazy.
I say something about Yankees fans. There's some, it's kind of like the West Coast it's the Dodgers fans that get a little wild and I don't know, just disrespect the game of baseball.
Yeah, and that caused a huge delay in the game.
Yeah.
And
and then they threw a baseball at Jurickson Profar.
They were also doing stuff with Tatis out in right field. So LA is crazy, and I hope we don't have to see another game in Dodger Stadium this year. Because if the Padres win today, and then
they move on,
and that game last night in San Diego was crazy.
It happened
atmosphere.
so quick.
Yeah,
it happened so quick. When I was checking the score, just live updates, it was Dodgers were up 1-0, top of the inning.
Yeah.
And then Padres came back. They took a 2-1 lead. Mm-hmm. Then the next inning, 6-1.
Yeah, they just took over. But in that game, too, after all that, controversy happened out in left field with Jurickson Profar. Manny Machado pulled his team together in the dugout in the middle of the game, had a team meeting, and he told his guys to stay locked in. Don't let them get in our heads and all this stuff. And
Coach is right, guys. If we need to win.
That's exactly what I was thinking, too. But, man, he showed he's a leader. And, he hasn't really been known as that throughout his career.
No, yeah,
but
I think he's matured a lot.
He definitely
since
has.
His time in Baltimore.
And then after that, he gets a 2-out single leading to Jackson Merrill, one of the best young players in baseball right now.
Yeah.
Hit a 2-run homer in the 8th. So
yeah. There was controversy, though, on his base path running to second base.
Manny Machado?
Yeah, because he was kind of running inside, but when you look at it, that's where the base path goes.
Kind of a smart play.
Yeah, it's a smart. He
definitely did it on purpose.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're taught to do.
Yeah, you're taught to get in the throwing path.
You're supposed to get in that way, and that really affected the game.
And a lot of people are like, he's out of the base path, but that's where you can go. You can go in there.
It's what coaches teach you to do. But yeah, this game was over 10-2. Padres won game
quick.
2.
Yeah.
And then for game 2 of the Tigers at the Guardians, which is going on right now, actually.
Is there a score update?
Tigers are up 2-0 in the top of the 6th right now. So let's go Tigers.
Let's go Tigers. But
this is a good series.
I want my prediction to be right.
I like both teams. But yeah, in this game too, best pitcher in all of baseball. Tarek Skubal started going 12 up, 12 down. Had a
rookie
perfect game.
Too.
And at this point, he's had 24 scoreless innings straight.
That's oh my gosh.
He's different. He had 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. He gave up his first hit in the 5th inning, and then he got out of the jam with a double play ball. Same thing happened in the 6th inning. It was bases loaded and 1 out, and then he gets a double play ball to get out of it.
Big. He knows when to pitch the right pitches. He's throwing these ground ball pitches. It's probably a breaking ball down low or something like that. He's getting his defense to work. He knows when to go for strikeouts, and he knows when to make his defense work.
Yeah, for sure. And this game was a pitching and defense duel. It was 0-0 into the 9th inning. And then the Guardians closer, Emmanuel Clase, who's one of the best closers in baseball, gives out a 2-out hit to Jake Rogers, the Tigers catcher. And then Trey Sweeney gets a single. And then Kerry Carpenter, the real hero of the night, 3-run homer in the 9th to give him a 3-0 lead. And that was all they needed.
That's what you were saying about baseball at the beginning of the show. It's just you could have all these star players, but it's really the team that just
whoever's
comes
hot,
alive.
Whoever's hot at the right time.
Whoever slings the bat at the right place.
Yeah. And 2 days ago, we saw the Royals tie up the series against the Yankees. That was a huge game.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Judge is really struggling for the Yankees right now. He's gotten 1 hit, and it was an infield hit in the playoffs. So
it's kind of like Dodgers go cold when they go in the playoffs, and the Yankees kind of go cold when they go in the playoffs.
Exactly. I saw it coming for sure. We're both praying on Yankees and the Dodgers downfall, but
definitely
we kind of expected at this point. Like, these guys get paid so much money. They have all the all-star players and all this stuff. And then once playoff comes around, it doesn't matter.
And then they go rip other players out of other organizations. And then they try and redo the whole thing.
Same thing. But yeah, this game, it was Carlos Rondon pitching for the Yankees against Cole Reagans, who's a young lefty for the Royals, who looked very good. He only gave up a run on an error from Bobby Witt. And then Salvador Perez, the fourth hitter in their lineup, tied it up with a solo bomb.
Seeing him still bat and play catcher the way he is right now, like at the age he is, it's insane seeing, getting up and getting down all those times.
Yeah, he's been doing that for over 10 years now.
He won it. He won the World Series with them back in 2013.
Yeah. Or made it to the World Series.
No, they won it in 2013 because they lost to the Giants in 2012, and then they won it the next year because they won it as a wild card team.
Yeah. So Salvador Perez does have a ring. Yeah.
Yes, I remember when we they played the A's in 2013, and we got eliminated in the wild card round.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But who's also on the Royals is Lucas Erseg, who was on the A's earlier this year.
Oh, yeah. We traded him for some prospects.
Yeah, for some good pitching prospects. But he gave up. He's their closer for the Royals. He's been good for them all year. But he gave up a home run to Jazz Chisholm in the ninth inning, but it didn't matter. The Royals,
little too late.
Yeah, Royals still ran away with it and won that one 4-2.
It's good for them. Winning that away game, they come back into Kansas City with all the
momentum,
firepower back in their back.
Yeah, all the momentum.
I don't mean to bring up. No, I'm not going to bring him up. Never mind.
Okay.
Different sport.
Well, yesterday we saw some big NL games. The Phillies were in New York to play the Mets. That crowd in New York was jumping, of course. Those Mets fans get hyped for their team. Mets ended up winning this one 7-2. Yeah. We saw our guy Sean Manaea pitch a gem.
Love to see it.
Yeah. And Aaron Nola pitched for the Phillies, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He didn't have a great night. But yeah, Mark Vientos just continuing to make huge impact at third with the bat as well. Also, Jesse Winker, who got into a lot of beef last series with the Brewers, he looks like he's on a mission out there. He hit a no-doubter in the fourth inning to give him a 2-0 lead. And also, Pete Alonso has been, ever since he's been going opposite field, he's been hitting the ball.
Everybody was thinking the Yankees were going to be the New York team to be kind of powerhouses, but the Mets are looking like kind of the most dominant team over there in the National League right now.
Yeah, and they're so clutch. Like, they always get hits with 2 outs and 2 strikes, runners on. Like, we saw Starling Marte, old Oakland A as well, came up clutch and gave them a two-run single to give them a 4-0 lead.
Yeah.
And then that was really all they needed. They got 7 shutout innings from Sean Manaea. He looked great out there.
Have you seen Sean Manaea's warm-up routine when he's
No.
So when he's in the bullpen, he's pitching from the left rubber.
Oh yeah.
Pitching across to the right plate. Mm-hmm. And the other day I saw a video of the Phillies setting up a pitching machine on the left rubber, and then to the left of the mound, and then pitching it to the plate, trying to emulate his curve and his spin and stuff.
Because he kind of has that like sidearm release.
He has a sidearm release that comes over, and then
the sweeping slider
goes all the way across the.
It's nasty.
It's pretty nasty.
And Bryce Harper couldn't touch it yesterday. I remember seeing Bryce Harper strike out.
They tried to warm it up, like they tried to figure it out, but they still couldn't do it.
Yeah. So we'd love to see our guy Sean Manaea. Also, Jose Iglesias, who's been huge for the Mets, came up big for them. But then Bryce Harper, 2 outs in the 8th, finally got them a run, a 2-out single, and then Castellanos. Those 2 guys are scary back-to-back in that lineup.
Yeah.
They scored 2 runs, and then Francisco Lindor, who you mentioned a couple shows ago, he really is the leader of this Mets team.
For sure.
Looks like he wants to win more than anything.
It's good to see him, kind of up there again, because he did struggle for a couple years on the Mets. He obviously defensively he's been one of the best, but hitting he's kind of been up and down.
Yeah. So that was the Mets and Phillies. That series is now 2-1. The Mets could close it out today in New York. That crowd is going to be jumping. And the last game we saw yesterday was the Dodgers at the Padres. This was a great game. Padres won at 6-5. We saw Michael King pitching for the Padres against Walker Buehler.
Michael King kind of, don't know if he came out of nowhere really, but he's one of those pitchers that just came alive at the end of the year for the Padres.
Yeah,
and closed it out for him.
Mm-hmm. In last series, we saw him pitch a crazy game. He had 12 strikeouts last series with no walks. So yeah, he's looking like one of the best pitchers in baseball. For sure. The only thing he did wrong yesterday was give up that grand slam to Teoscar Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
But that was all they really could get off.
That's all that happened. Yeah. And then the rest of the game was a pitching duel after the first few innings, I think. Yeah.
Oh, and Mookie Betts was also 0 for his last 22 in postseason at bats before his home run in the first inning. It was very similar to the one in Game 2 when he hit it. It was pretty much same spot where Jurickson Profar, remember when he robbed him.
Yeah.
But this one hit Profar's glove. He couldn't come up with the catch this time.
And then I saw a video of him trotting like across the field, thinking he did catch it.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a crazy series out there. Freddie Freeman looks injured out there. He's hobbling around.
Yeah, I saw him. He's gimping around a little bit.
Yeah, he still wants to stay out there. He doesn't want to come out of the game, but he might be hurting the team more than anything. I mean, not with the bat, but in the field, he made a big error.
He's with that slump.
He got a single yesterday at the end of the game they took him out after he got on base.
I mean, a single that's in garbage time, really.
True. And Tatis, again, huge 2-run homer in the second.
Mm-hmm.
An absolute moonshot. I love how Tatis, bat flips, watches the ball. It's electric. And
he's trying to get under their skin, man.
Yeah.
You can kind of, but he's, also trying to get the crowd hype and everything. But, if you try to get under the skin, you might make him mad and make him play better, or you just get in their head.
Yeah, Tatis, and he's been playing a great outfield, too. He moved from shortstop. Now he's playing right field. Looks great out there.
Kind of struggled at first, but now he's getting it down.
For sure. He's definitely one of my favorite players in the entire league.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robert Suarez, the closer for the Padres, throwing over 100 miles an hour, closed them out, and I hope to see it again today.
Yeah. Hoping for a closeout series for that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad.
Your brother.
Yeah. No, there's a rivalry there.
Yeah, I get that.
Sports rivalry.
All right. Well, I say we make some new predictions. We both predicted our World Series before the playoffs started, and we've been proven to be. I mean, not you yet.
I'm keeping my predictions
you
strong.
Still have the Guardians and the Padres. I gotta switch mine because the Orioles got knocked out. They didn't even win a game.
Are gone,
They scored 1 run in that series.
I'm keeping mine. I'm keeping the Padres and Guardians. Also, shout out to our boy Milo down in San Diego.
Shout out.
He's working on a little logo for us.
Yeah, Beam City.
Beam City for it. Yep.
Yeah.
All of his stuff is looking good right now.
So I'm switching my pick. I'm going to rock with the Padres in the NL as well. I'm picking them to make the World Series. And then in the AL, I'm going to go with the Tigers.
Okay.
I'm going to rock with the Tigers.
Okay.
I think they are, one of those, fan favorite teams that comes out of nowhere. We rarely see a team like that make it all the way to the World Series, but
pretty sick.
I think these guys are playing great baseball, and I think they're ready.
Obviously, if the Tigers do make it in there, then I would probably agree that they're gonna win the AL because I wouldn't want to see that dream die. Yeah. But I'm sticking with it. I think the Guardians are gonna kind of take it over.
Yeah, they need it today. It's 2-0 Tigers right now. We'll see what happens with the rest of this game. That we also see every other team playing, Phillies and Mets after that, Yankees, Royals, and then the Dodgers and Padres later tonight. But yeah, this has been another week of Beam City Sports, 15 in a row.
15
on 96.5 FM. Tyler Texeira and Luke Mitchell. We'll be back next week with another great show.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Sacramento. Hope you guys have a good one. Stay cool. Share, like, comment, subscribe, everything. Thank you for listening. Cheers.
Cheers.